Do argon. What does a guy need argon for? Oh yeah, I bought a TIG welder. So guys, I actually did it. I purchased a TIG welder, and what I got was the Primeweld 225 XD or something like that. I don't know. It's actually better quality than I expected for what you pay. I think I live in Canada, so I mean I got it to my door for around $1,100. I think they offer free shipping if you're in the States. But a machine of this size, you can't really find for under $1,000. You definitely can't find it for under $2,000 here in Canada. So this is going to be not an unboxing because I don't have any video of that because I was too eager to get it up. And it won't really be a review because not so much of a review. My review? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm certified to review a TIG welder because I've never owned one. It's got a lot of fancy things that the internet tells me that's great for a beginner and for an entry-level machine. And that's basically what I'm going off of. So don't take this as a review because, like I said, I've never used any of this stuff before. Not full-time or long-term anyways. So let's take a look at the machine. Maybe we'll do some welding. I don't know. We'll just go through it and we'll see what we all got here for $1,100 Canadian. So as you can see, Primeweld 225 XD, AC/DC, which is a big one for me because I've always wanted to weld aluminum. But I do plan on focusing more on stainless in some of my automotive fab stuff. And there'll be more coming once I figure this out. This is quite a challenge for me, as it probably is for every amateur TIG welder or a guy who buys his first unit. And so that's what I'm kind of going after. Is this something that a beginner guy should buy? I mean, it's cheap enough. Really. If you really look at good TIG welders, this is cheap. Really cheap. The next guy I was looking at was Everlast. If I had more money, I would have looked into Everlast. But my other one that I was looking at is the AHP 200X or something. That's the one that I was really going for at the beginning when I first started talking about a TIG welder. And that would have been 4 or 5 years ago. But it had the crappy metal and, it just really wasn't there. At least once I heard about the Primeweld, I was kind of hooked. Because, three TIG welders I was looking at was the Eastwood 200, the AHP, and the Primeweld. Primeweld, to my mind, looks better. Yes, that matters to me a little bit. The AHP still to me looks cheaper, maybe, in my opinion. This one comes with a nice pedal. You can see it kind of right there. It's the nice rocker panel, not that Chinese one. However, I did find out that AHP has now upgraded as well. CK Worldwide Torch. That seems to be what everyone gets hot and horny over. I don't know. I've never used enough TIG torches to know the difference. I know some friends who've upgraded their machines to CK Worldwide torches. I've also had guys who have had them fail. I mean, stuff will fail. But it is a nice torch for what it is. This is a number 17 Flex. I have a 7 cup on there now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect with a CK Worldwide as opposed to another one. Maybe I'll have to borrow some of my other buddies' cheap TIG torches and give them a shot. Maybe I can actually really give you an opinion on if they're actually that great. But according to the internet, that's a good torch. So, right on. DINS 35 connectors, pretty standard from what I've read. Gas, foot pedal. Came with a little clicky button to put onto the torch. So that's nice, especially when you start getting under the hood of a car or something, then you're trying to tack weld some stuff. So I might use that. This machine has pulse. Do I understand what that all means? No. Will I try to use it and pretend I do? Yes. Like I said, fake it till you make it. These are our controls for our trigger, upslope and downslope, your main current, AC, DC frequency and balance. AC balance and frequency. And then here is your, what do we got here? Pre-flow, base current, pulse frequency, pulse duty, post flow. All I'm really using on this right now is pre and post flow. This, I believe, is for pulse, hence the little doohickey picture here. Again, don't know what that all means. I'll figure it out. I have been welding with this machine a little bit. I'm just pumped to own a TIG welder. I'm not good at it. I got to learn. Started off, it actually worked really, really well. Got crappier from there. But this is what I've done so far. Just getting all the heat. Just making it scream. But, you know, like that got real. I don't know what I was drinking there. But I'll figure it out. I mean, I'm a rookie. This is what we do. We buy cheap stuff and we think it works as good stuff. But there is a lot of web support behind this Primeweld. A lot of guys, I mean, everyone talks about the price. Everyone loves the price because like a sub $1,000 machine, you can't really get more for your money in my eyes from all the research that I've done. And I'm one of those guys who will research something to the death and then I'll buy it and use it and realize that, oh, just because you read it online doesn't make you a professional TIG welder. So that's kind of setting in. But we'll get better. I mean, I'm pumped to use this thing and do more. I'll see if I can get some pictures of me welding here. But it's a nice machine. I really look forward to using it. It's got everything a guy needs. It's got all the main features a guy needs. I mean, there are fancy digital screens and the one knobs and all the push buttons and all that stuff. But to be honest, that'll just confuse me. So this might be a little bit simpler of a setup. Buddy of mine just picked up an Everlast 200, actually the same week I got this one. So he kind of stole my thunder there a little bit. But I'm pumped for him. He's also in the same boat, learning. I'm proud of him. It's going to be awesome. So maybe one day we'll get both machines side by side and we'll do a little bit of a little debate. Because it is a more expensive machine. Still in the budget-friendly zone, I would say. Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of put them head to head because the 200 Everlast is kind of more or less the equivalent to this guy. After that, I think they get bigger. But it's a nice clean unit. I like the black and yellow, black and yellow and red. Looks really nice. Sturdy handle. This thing actually weighs less than I thought. I think packaged weight was 65 pounds, 70 pounds-ish, according to FedEx or UPS, whoever dropped it off. So it's not an overly heavy unit. I might look into building a welding cart, because I kind of got this just set up here, just messing around. Got a sheet on the table with my ground and just screwing around. Because this is a little inconvenient because the fans on this thing are fairly loud. But I'll turn it on here so you can hear it. Oh, maybe I should plug it in first. I'll get that plugged in. But another issue I'm having is right now I'm only on 110. So this machine only goes up to 145 at 110. And I flip breakers at 145. I flip breakers at 110 amps. So I've only been able to weld at around 100, 108 amps so far. I am going to put a plug in the wall, the right style plug. I have 220 in the shop. I just need the right plug. So I'm going to wire in the right plug. And then we'll really get to push this thing and see what's going on and find out what I'm doing wrong. So I'm going to see if I can set up some metal and we'll get the plug installed. And maybe I'll run some beads. And you guys can see how crappy my welds are. And you can judge for yourself if this is something you want to get into. Okay, guys, I got the right plug installed. I didn't show any of that because I had to do some very questionable wiring that we will not show on camera. But I'm going to set up some material. I'll set up the camera. I'll run some beads. I am out of mild steel or carbon steel rods. So I'm just gonna run a couple beads on some stainless coupons here for you, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, see if she welds the way I have been welding, hopefully not worse. And you guys can kind of see what's going on with the torch and all that jazz. So stick with me here and I'll set up the camera and we'll run some beads. Okay, so I got some coupons here that I cleaned up. Freshly ground tungsten. Got my stainless filler rod. And I'm just gonna do some autogenous tacks, and then I'll maybe run a bead about an inch or so, 2 inches long with filler rod, and then I'll do maybe one with just pulse and just no filler, something like that. And I don't know, we'll see what we come up with and what it looks like. And yeah, like I said, you can see how bad a guy who's welded maybe 5 times in his life for maybe 5 minutes at a time can TIG weld. So I'll set this up here and we'll get at her. Let the post flow finish up, or so the internet tells me to do that. So that is with filler rod. A little smoky. I don't know how to get away from that. I've tried a couple and they all ended up kind of like that, very gray welds. Looks like I have adequate gas coverage, I think. Again, I'm just going off of what I see online. So I'll run a little bit now without filler and just maybe a pulse setting, and we'll see how that looks as well. And I won't use any filler for this. I'll just use pulse and see what that looks like. So that actually looks a lot better. Looks a little cleaner. Get out of the shadow here. So I'm not sure why when I add filler rod I get very gray and a little bit more porous. However, from this angle it doesn't look that bad, but it's definitely a lot darker gray. And when I just use pulse and no filler, it really doesn't look half bad. But now I'll try another end here with some pulse and some filler towards the end spot here, and we'll see how that looks. So that kind of works a little bit. It's kind of the same deal. It's definitely more cloudy than without filler at all. So I'm wondering if it's my filler rod, or if I'm just flat out going too fast, too slow, too hot, too cold. Heck, I don't know. I'm just going off of what YouTube and everything else can instruct me on what to do. But yeah, so weld's half decent. I might do a little bit more and we'll come back and we'll check it out. But that's how it welds, and we'll go over some more parts of the machine here in just a bit. Okay, so now you've seen how I can weld crappy, and hopefully I get better from here. I think for a first start beginner, I think I did fairly well. The metal is stuck together. Here's some more stainless that I welded together the other a little bit earlier. Again, that's just with pulse, no filler. And I started getting that salmon color, which I think is good from what I hear. Obviously not perfect, but you know, it's starting to look like I might know what I'm doing, or at least be able to figure it out. But yeah, I might try some different filler rod. I actually have more filler rod coming. That's actually a different brand, so I might try that out and see what that does. All in all, the torch does get fairly hot when you're doing a bead that long. Those 3 little tests we did, doesn't get that hot, but when you go all the way along one of those coupons, she gets a little warm, but I think that's just normal for an air-cooled torch anyways. It also came with this guy, one of these. Everybody hates these things online, and I don't know what their beef is, because I love those things. You can't really use it for TIG welding, obviously, unless you can one-hand TIG weld, which I obviously cannot. But those mats are awesome to have in the shops for when your son, your daughter, your wife, your sister, your brother come to the shop and they want to see how you TIG weld or just weld in general. Now you don't need to have a second lid that costs you $200. That thing can save a person's eyes, and they can actually see and learn what they're doing. So I like those things to have around. So I am pro one-hand welding masks. And they're dark all the time, so you don't have to worry about somebody getting flashed in your shop. Came with a bag of consumables, standard consumables, 5, 6, 7 cup, 1 piece of tungsten, which I'm actually surprised I'm still using. I'm still on my first tungsten. I thought I'd be long gone that already. But I'm gonna use it for a little while longer. I'm gonna, you know, obviously you'll see me use this in some projects and stuff. And I don't know, maybe in a couple of months, a year, I don't know. Maybe once I think I have it figured out or think I know what I'm talking about, maybe I'll come back and I'll actually do a review. It's like I said, I'm in no shape or form to give a review on this machine. I want to know if this machine is good enough for the average Joe just starting out, people who call themselves fabricators but really don't have much experience, this guy. And just wants to, you know, wants to learn a new skill. I plan on being in here almost every day after work for an hour and just sitting down and welding. It's a little expensive when you first start out doing it that way because you're just burning material and filler and gas, but hey, you gotta learn somehow, and if you don't do it, you will never learn. So that is the Primeweld Tig 225X, XD, X, I don't know, something Roman numeral. And that is my not so much a review of this machine. Works well, I'm pumped, it does what it says it should do. It's just gonna be a matter of me learning how to do it well, because if you can't TIG weld well, I can't tell you if this is a bad machine. So when you see people on the internet buying their first TIG welder and giving a review, they don't know what they're talking about. They still have to learn how to use the machine. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna learn how to use this machine, and one day when I'm comfortable, I will show the world what I think about this machine, and maybe if I get a chance to use more machines, then we'll definitely be able to tell if this is a really good machine. But I think for the home hobbyist, as of right now, this is a great buy, and I am pumped to have it in the shop. And if you're like me, this is a good machine, in my point of view. This is a good machine. So we'll build a welding cart for it at some point. I'm hoping to actually use our CNC plasma table once that thing is all set up and going. Might use that to make a pretty cool, sweet custom welding table, and you'll see more of that. If this is your first video watching with Leckerman Fabworks, if you want to know more about that CNC project, I'll put a card up here somewhere for you. I think I have a playlist for all that CNC stuff. Yeah, so thanks for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I appreciate it. Send me a comment. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And if you know what I'm doing wrong with these welds, definitely leave a comment, because you probably know more than I do, and we'll try fixing and getting better. But till next time, and we'll try this all over again.